You should read your Bible, sirs. You'll find all types of weird shit in there.
Hey, we'll have a rousing discussion about the truth, honor, patriotism.
No, not you. Not you. Your organization's terrible. Quiet. I'm not going to give you a question. You are fake news.
How about new, you crazy Dutch bastard?
You ever been mindfucked before?
You are fake news.
The media said what?
Let's see what these deep state characters are up to.
Now you see that evil will always triumph, because good is dumb.
That's right. I'm here. Apparently, the devil is in me still. Apparently, the exorcism had some side effects, and I have grown wings and horns. But I am the world's the greatest American hero. A symbol that I've always thought looked suspiciously like male anatomy. But hey, what are you going to do? This is Jason Dutch. I am here for Left Angle tonight. Lindsay is running behind. She will be here. For those of you who have tuned in, looking for the toe queen of Idaho. Potato, Lindsay, socially awkward nurse Lindsay, on her way to the show as we speak. So she'll probably be here in the second half of the show. But for the first half of the show, I'm going to kind of give you guys a little bit of a taste of what I do on my channel. So for those of you who are not familiar with my channel, I also have a channel that here on Twitch, which is Dutch Jason at Dutch or twitch.tv/Dutch Jason. It's also Twitter at Dutch Jason, Jason spelled with an E, Jasen. So if you want to flip over there and follow that channel, I'm very happy with it so far. I've only been doing it since like just before Christmas. I want to say I started streaming on Twitch, doing my own personal thing, like around the 19th or the 20th of December. So it's only been a few weeks, and I already made affiliate. I have not actually hit enter on the affiliate agreement yet. But I see no reason why I won't do that today or tomorrow. I've just been busy since I saw the email a day or two ago. But I'm going to give you a little bit of a taste of kind of what I do on that channel. It's not that like earth shattering as far as like its originality. I'm not going to lie to you. There's a lot of people on Twitch who watch videos. That's kind of what I do, but I kind of focus on more right-wing content, some religious content, kind of the same stuff we focus on the show, except usually it's just me and Lindsay talking about it. Or in this case, it's me more or less replying to crap from the internet, right? From the interwebs. So I'm going to do that kind of the same form that I usually do it. So I'm going to share my screen here. The only question is, because I'm usually use my studio, is where do I situate myself? And I think maybe this screen will be sufficient. I wish I could do it the opposite. Like, I wish I could make me. I don't think I can do that. I don't think I can. No, I can't. StreamYard won't let me do it. I wish I could make the screen a little bit bigger, but I can't. So one of the channels that I frequent over there is oh, look, Left Angle's on. Ha! Look at that. Actually, yeah, I'll probably watch this later. But one of the channels that I watch is Victory News. I'm going to do that. And let's so those of you who don't know what Victory News is, I'm going to make this bigger, I think, here. There, that's a little bit bigger. Make me big. For those of you who don't know what Victory News is, Victory Channel, Victory is, they have a show called Flashpoint. They are essentially right-wing news, but with a twist. They are super fucking right-wing, and they package it all as evangelical. It's like right up my parents' alley. It's you'll see. I'll play a few clips of a couple of different things. Let's kind of see what they're talking about. I haven't watched this yet, but I'm sure there'll be some insanity going on. So let's see who's on this show. Is there? So this isn't the normal hosts, but let's see what they're talking about. It's only 5 minutes. Once in a century is correct. You don't say. And the funny thing is, it's like nobody nobody is sworn in yet, right? Like that's something that you're not hearing a lot. Like none of these newly elected members of Congress are members of Congress yet. They're not sworn in because the first thing that they do is they elect a speaker and then they get sworn in. So all these people are, I would imagine they're getting paid, but they're not technically part of government. And George Santos may never be part of government, but the only thing that's protecting him, we'll talk about George Santos in a moment. I think that's the guy's name. We interviewed one of the people that he ran against a few months ago, Melanie D'Arrigo, but we'll hear what Kevin has to say here. Oh, for Christ's sake. I was not expecting this. I was not expecting this at all. Not in the slightest. Excuse me. What I wasn't expecting is people moving back the other way. So if that starts to happen, now the odds of the Republican Party swapping over to a Jim Jordan or someone else, oh, excuse me, just became substantially higher. And also the remote possibility that Hakeem Jeffries could win are higher. Still remote. Still very remote. Ooh, I just started sneezing here. Sometimes when I start sneezing, I keep sneezing for a minute. So forgive me for that. I might actually let me just fix that right now. I know how to stop my sneezes. I'll let you guys watch this and I'll be listening in. Oh. Forgive me, guys. I just got hit with some fucking allergies like a few minutes ago. And I had to step away for a second because I was like sneezing my ass off. I don't know what the fuck I inhaled, but as I was sitting here, something just triggered my fucking allergies. So luckily for me, I know how to stop allergy like sneezing fits. And it's a very odd way to do it. It may not be the safest way to do it, so I'm not advocating this. Q-tip. Massaging the ear canal. Hey, Chapman Hunista. How are you? Humanista, sorry. Thanks for joining this show over on YouTube. If you're watching us on YouTube and you'd like to watch us on Twitch, you can do that at twitch.tv/dig on America. So again, we are waiting for Lindsay. She'll be here eventually. And but until then, we're just chilling. Because we're certainly going to talk more about Kevin McCarthy when she gets here. So, and forgive my snifflies. They'll probably go away in about 5 minutes as Sudafed takes effect. We're not suppressing anyone on social media platforms. We're not suppressing anybody on social media platforms. Let me say that one more time to be clear. The left is not suppressing people on social media platforms. The right is suppressing themselves by saying stupid shit. And when you say stupid shit, private companies have a right to fucking kick you off their platforms. That is not fucking suppression of freedom of speech. It is censorship, but it's not censorship of like, oh, I have the right to bear arms. No, it goes well beyond that. And that's the part that they're missing. But of course, they know that, but they're not going to tell you that because it would ruin their narrative. Vaulton RS, thank you for following. I'm curious as to what they're going to, as to how Victory is going to cover George Santos. I would imagine it's going to be in a negative light, but not because of the reasons what you think. We know for a fact that the guy lied. It's been, well, I'll say allegedly he lied, but it looks really, really clear that that's the case. The evidence is very, very damning. He said that he had a charity that never existed, like help dogs. He said that he had worked for like Goldman Sachs, and then he went to a particular college, and he was like working at like DirecTV or something like that at the time that he had claimed to be working for Goldman Sachs. He claimed his family was rich, but of course Republicans love that. Turns out the family not so rich. He actually was in debt. Go figure, a Republican lying about their income. You don't say. Who could have guessed? I could never have guessed that anything like that could possibly ever happen. But also, George Santos just happens to be gay. So it is highly unlikely that Victory News will, what's up, Lamar? It is highly unlikely that Victory News will have anything positive to say about him. But we will find out right now. And again, I'll be listening along with you. I'm looking for the line that God drew. If anyone has seen the line that God drew, I'd like to see that line. I don't know where God drew that line at. Is it like in the middle of the house floor? I have no sound. How could I have no sound? No sound? No sound? Okay, I have sound. I must have had no sound just for a second. Thank you, Lamar, though, for telling me that I had no sound for a second. Oh, the video sound turned off. I see. Thank you for letting me know that. That happens sometimes with this stupid ass platform. I never have that problem when I am using Streamlabs. Let's go back and try that again. Let's just go from here. Since you guys didn't hear that, apparently. We'll just start it over. No big deal. McCarthy complaining, but you should hear the sound now.
Transpired. But if we're able to work out our differences and take this time, we'll only be stronger to be able to accomplish the things we want to.
Florida Republican Byron Donalds voted for McCarthy in the first 2 rounds and then joined 19 of his Republican colleagues in voting for Representative Jim Jordan of Ohio in the third. He explained why earlier this morning.
At that point, we were basically deadlocked, and it was pretty clear that he didn't have the votes. So my thoughts is, okay, if he doesn't have the votes, what are we going to do as a conference to either find someone who can get to 218 or at a minimum adjourn what we were doing, get off the floor so the needed negotiations can happen? I think that it was actually not in a good place for the Republican conference to stay on the House floor yesterday and continuously vote. Look, a lot of people back home are trying to figure out what's going on Capitol Hill. But what we are really having is a deliberative process about House leadership and about what is needed to get Washington back on track.
Jim Jordan called.
In a way, it's sort of refreshing that somebody in Congress is saying that. The problem is it's coming from him, and that kind of mitigates that a little bit, because it would be really nice if, like, when Democrats, we've always had a Democrat or two who have challenged Pelosi over the years, but it's never been a substantial challenge. It's never been something that it really had any weight behind it, because the progressive wing of Congress has only has like 5 or 6 votes, 7 depending on who you count as a progressive. Maybe you count Ro Khanna. But there's 5 to 7, maybe 8 progressive members of Congress. That's not a terribly high amount. And even they have pretty staunchly backed up Nancy Pelosi over the years. So over the past 4 years that we've had a progressive wing. Like before that, we didn't even have a progressive wing. So where like the Freedom Caucus in itself is a new thing, but the ideas behind the Freedom Caucus, the Tea Party and the Young Guns and, you know, all the type of stuff, that stuff's been around for ages. So they're just calling it something different. Where the Progressive Caucus, while we've had a Progressive Caucus for a while, we didn't really have progressives in the Progressive Caucus, so to speak. It was more or less folks who said, oh yeah, I'll join the Progressive Caucus, but then did absolutely nothing progressive. So it's kind of refreshing that someone actually says this. And maybe the Democratic Party, when they take House leadership back, can, not in this particular way. We don't want it to go this way, the way that this is going for the Republicans. But maybe they can find a way to hash this out prior to it going to vote and say, look, we have the votes. We want to settle on someone who is more progressive to push votes to the floor. Because one of the things about Nancy Pelosi is Nancy Pelosi would never introduce bills to the floor unless she thought they were going to win. A lot of people look at that as a strength. Not necessarily myself. I say bring stuff up, let people vote. But here's the thing, especially when it comes to Democrats. You can't go out, well, you can, but you'd have a hard time going out and campaigning. Saying that you're pro universal health care or pro single payer health care. And then when it comes to the floor, knowing you want to vote against it because you actually don't want universal single payer, you actually want to keep the status quo. Why could that possibly be, Jason Dutch? You might say, well, it's because of their donors. Their donors want universal, do not want universal health care. Their donors are like the pharma companies, the insurance company, the insurance lobbies, stuff like that. So, you know, with the Republicans, the only real dividing point within the Republican Party is not the issues, but how they're divided as to how untactfully you can talk about it without being too untactful. That's pretty much all that it is. So we'll finish watching this video, and then I'll have one more I'll show you guys. And about that time, Lindsay will probably be here.
Called for unity from the party and nominated Kevin McCarthy yesterday. Without a speaker, the House cannot swear in its members, and name its committee chairman, engage in floor proceedings, and launch investigations of the Biden administration.
And today is round 2 of Republicans seeking to elect a Speaker of the House. Now, Jim Jordan was nominated as an alternative to Kevin McCarthy, but he stated, quote, "I've been clear, I want to chair the Judiciary Committee." How do you see the struggle between GOP party members resolving or going forward?
Well, this morning, former President Donald Trump came out with a strong endorsement calling on all GOP members to support Kevin McCarthy. We will see later today exactly if any movement has been made. Ultimately, we are seeing democracy happen before our very eyes, and I'm really hoping that we can come to a resolution because we do have an agenda items such as defunding the IRS agents and, restoring parents' rights and oversight committees that we need to get.
Jesus Christ, man. My mute buttons are not working today. I'm trying to figure out when parents didn't have rights. When was this a thing? It is astonishing to me that they can get away with this type of rhetoric where you can go in and you can tell people, parents, I support the parents' rights initiatives. Parents have rights. Parents have always had rights. There's never been a time when parents haven't had rights. What's up, Wheelie Snarky Dragon? What's up, Tattoo Lover? Thanks for coming over to Dig on America. My co-host Lindsay will be here shortly. She was running a little bit late tonight. If you don't know her, you will love her. She's much better than me at this. But let's continue to listen. So I'm just giving people a taste of kind of like what I do on the Dutch Jason Twitch channel.
On behalf of the American people.
Last night, Tucker Carlson offered a unique idea to expose the FBI's conduct and, of all things, make Kevin McCarthy the speaker. Here it is.
The FBI is now a bigger force than any single group of voters.
Well, Tattoo, you've been on my other Twitch channel. This is my this is my original Twitch channel. Dig at America. This particular channel is basically like a progressive news network. So this is a team effort. I'm not the only one on here. There's a bunch of us. There's about 8 of us who are on this channel. We have different shows. We have a show on Wednesday, a show on show on Tuesday, show on Wednesday, show on Friday, which you're watching, and then we have a show on Sunday. Our Sunday show generally interviews progressive candidates. All this stuff is also on YouTube. So you can go to youtube.com/Dig on America and check that out. Pretty much everything that we have done is on YouTube. But this channel has been around for about a year. My other channel, the channel that where I am on by myself, that is a new channel, the twitch.tv/Dutch Jason. That channel's I've only been doing that for about maybe 3 weeks now. So, and just became an affiliate yesterday. So that's fucking awesome for 3 weeks. It took Dig on America like a fucking year to become affiliate. It was very slow growth. And this channel, because of the other people that work with me on this channel, way, way fucking better than my channel. So
This cannot continue. It is poison. And Kevin McCarthy is uniquely situated right now to stop it. So by striking a deal with his 20 colleagues, McCarthy could restore our system to health and at the very same time get the job he has always wanted.
Carlson said providing a committee to investigate the FBI and its misdeeds is the kind of thing America deserves, and McCarthy needs to offer his opponents to get the speaker vote. What do you think?
Here's a funny prediction for you. They'll set up a committee to investigate the FBI. They'll probably come up with one guy who's kind of a shitbag, and that'll be fine. And then they'll paint the entire Biden administration as accountable for that. And even though they don't find anything, they'll talk about how the left stonewalled it, how the investigation found more, but nobody did anything, that there was all this obvious stuff, all this obvious corruption. And it'll be another Benghazi, right? Where they investigated Benghazi. Look, I'm not a Hillary Clinton fan, but they investigated Benghazi twice. Benghazi. You cannot convince a Republican that there were not war crimes in Benghazi. Yet, when we have somebody who actually does commit war crimes, like what was it, that guy Gallagher, I forget if he was an Army Ranger or a Marine, who like cut some kid's throat open, and his own platoon members turned him in. When Trump pardons him, takes him on the campaign trail with him, they don't care about war crimes. They thought that guy was the fucking coolest dude ever. But Benghazi. Shocking, isn't it?
I would be absolutely in favor of that. I think with the 19 Republicans that are holding out, they're claiming that they want to drain the swamp. There's nothing more swampy right now that we've seen recently than the actions of the FBI going after parent groups, going after pro-life groups, going after, suppressing people on Twitter and social media platforms. So I think,
again, nobody is being suppressed on Twitter or social media platforms. The right wing is suppressing themselves because they're saying stupid shit. When you say stupid shit and a private company decides to ban you from their platform, you could say that that's censorship, and you'd probably be right. But they're censoring content that should be censored because it can be damaging. That is not the same thing as censoring a conservative for saying I'm pro 2A. That's a different thing. But that's what they'll pretend is happening. They're pretending that right-wingers are being banned from social media left and right simply because they're right-wing, but all they do is post videos of their cat. But that's not the case. There's right-wingers all over Twitter. There have been, and there were way before Musk. I've been in Twitter spaces with them. It's a thing.
I think there should be a full investigation. I'm fully in favor of that. And it's time to have the speaker and move forward with our democracy and our republic.
Now, there's a freshman representative, George Santos, and he's faced big criticism for lying about himself and his background.
So I started this video over because I was playing it, and I've been having issues with the studio today. It's not playing sound from moment to moment, but this guy, I already heard how they addressed it on here when I watched it the first time. I would imagine Victory News did not get the answer from this congresswoman that they wanted, because while George Santos is clearly, the evidence is showing that he's lied, but he is supporting McCarthy, which is interesting because it's giving him a level of protection, and McCarthy needs that vote. So, but he also happens to be gay, and last I checked, Victory News, they not big fan.
National seat. Once the dust settles on the House Speaker debate, should Santos be sworn in and seated?
He will be sworn in, he will be seated, and then people can decide if they want to elect him again when he runs for re-election. We've seen even from this president that he has lied repeatedly, and he's still the president of the United States. It doesn't work that he's just unseated.
She's talking about Biden here, but what lies has Biden told?
The American people, the people of his district made a choice, and so then they can decide whether or not they want to keep him there or remove him in the future.
But as we go today, it's really interesting. I feel like there's a line being drawn in the sand in everything.
All right, so I'm going to turn that one off and go to this here. Apparently a scuffle broke out today on the House floor. So we will, I'm not sure if you guys can hear this. I don't think you'll be able to hear the sound on this channel. So let me make it so that you can. Because again, the studio has been acting funky today. Oh, you mean, yeah, well, Wheelie Snarky Dragon, you're not wrong about some of that, because he made some progressive promises, some promises to the left, which have not come true. That's not what they're talking about. They're talking about, I don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. They don't even know what they're talking about. They're probably talking about Biden saying that he was going to reach across the aisle and work with Republicans. He's actually tried to do that. The Republicans are not interested in that, as I'm sure you know. That you're probably right. It's probably vaccines too. So he, as a progressive, I'm not going to say that I'm thrilled with Biden, though I will say that he did at least pass some policy. The infrastructure bill, they stripped a lot of stuff out of it that I would have liked to have seen in it. But the bill that went through wasn't terrible. They did push through the second COVID package. He has, they did get a package through for the budget, which I thought gave too much to the military, which I was disappointed with. But Biden has gotten through legislation at least. The problem is that they continue to strip out most of the progressive ideas that were with what were supposed to be within those. Outside of the green energy, which is really the one area where he has not completely pulled the plug on it. He did do a lot to invest in green energy in 2021, on his first year in office. But the right wing, they're going to be like, oh, well, he didn't reach across the aisle. He's not like, and when they hear that, they know he's not saying I'm going to pass conservative legislation. They know that. But that's what they're going to say that he said. So, oh my God, yeah, he needs, absolutely would love to see marijuana be legalized and something done with prison reform. Here's the crazy thing. Trump did more with prison reform than Biden probably will do during his likely one term. And I say likely one term because I don't think he's going to run again. He was waiting to see what Trump was going to do. He's waiting for after the midterms. He hasn't announced anything yet. Still haven't heard anything. I think he's enjoying this fiasco. But now might be a good time for him to announce, actually, and say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to run for re-election. Because while this mess is going on, it wouldn't even be like front page news. Right. And Title 42, here's the thing. Another good point, Wheelie Snarky Dragon. Biden has increased Title 42. Like he added countries to Title 42. He has no interest in getting rid of Title 42 on an effective level. He will talk against it. He'll be like, oh, you know, Title 42, maybe not so good. But yet he added Venezuela and I forget one other country to it. And Title 42, for those of you who don't know, allows the government to arrest people as they cross the border and not grant them asylum hearings. So instead of taking them in front of an immigration judge and giving them an asylum hearing, they just take them back. And it was passed under the guise of COVID, right? Which, of course, we know was a lie because COVID, the right wing will tell us that COVID is not a thing, especially right now. And they still want Title 42. So how could it be a COVID policy? No, of course they were lying. Like, shocker of the year, the right wing lied again. It was because they don't like immigrants, brown immigrants specifically. But and then the Republicans will like work with Biden to strip legislation and then not vote for the legislation that they personally had stripped, but then cheer about the benefits to their local community that their constituents get. So they will be like, oh, look at this money that I got appropriated to our district. I'm a hero. No, you fucking liars. You voted against the legislation. And now they want credit for what it does for their local community. Do I think some people didn't get some of the stimulus package that Biden did? I think there was 3 or 4 since he's been president. And be able to threaten them with ICE. Yeah, it's like Biden is not he's not part of like the defund the police movement. He's not like, oh, abolish ICE. I'm not necessarily in the abolish ICE camp. I think ICE needs to be stripped apart and reformed. We obviously need to have somebody, on the border, right? Like, you can't just have a completely unguarded border. But what you can't have is people acting like the Gestapo and treating people like shit. These are human beings and they deserve dignity, and they're coming here for a reason. And the reason why these people are coming here is because this is the land of opportunity, number one. But number two, and a lot of things, this is something that people don't talk about a lot, is that they're coming here because it's the United States has gotten, part of the reason why the United States has gotten wealthy is because it has exploited Latin America. The U.S. businesses have huge influence in Latin America. They basically control, in a lot of those cases, who is in charge of those countries. An amalgamation of the U.S. businesses and, like, the U.S. government, sometimes the CIA by proxy. But so if the U.S. is stripping all of these resources from your country, taking that money and funneling it into our own economy and leaving your economy desolate, why would you not want to go to who took the money if they're advertising themselves as being a place that you can immigrate to and that is the richest country in the world? Of course they're going to want to come here. And we should let them, because we stole all that fucking money from their countries. And yes, that's true. We did. The ICE is, and again, it's not like I'm pro ICE. I'm not pro ICE at all. I think ICE is fucking run by monsters. But much like the defund the police program, or rhetoric, I should say, we're not saying we don't want police. We're not saying we shouldn't have we shouldn't police our streets. We're saying that we need to change the way that our streets are policed. When people say abolish ICE, they're not saying don't have any sort of immigration enforcement. We're saying treat people like fucking human beings. Don't throw them in cages. Give them their asylum hearings. And now they're fucking busing people to, like, fucking Kamala Harris's house. It's fucking absurd. Let's play this video again. This is a scuffle on the House floor today. Hopefully my screen cooperates with me this time and plays the sound. It's not as good as the studio. This studio is great because it allows you to have multiple people on, and it's very easy to use. This is called StreamYard, this particular platform. On my show, I use Streamlabs, which is like a studio that's on my computer. And, like, you can probably tell the camera's better, the sound is better, the clips are better. I can make the screen bigger. Like right here, the screen is like very, very small. Where on my screen, I can be little, but I can be little on this one too. But, like, if I do it, I'm like all the way down here, and, like, you can't even tell that I'm here. It's like you might as well just fucking be watching the video without me up on the screen. So let's see, tap to unmute. Let's see what they're talking. There's this is newer. So
they would then pass the rules package and the House of Representatives for this session would begin. That has not happened. Look at this. There's finger pointing going on. Matt Gaetz is pointing at McCarthy. A crowd is gathering around them. McCarthy obviously trying to implore Gaetz at this point to do something. And I wish there was audio with this. Ali Vitale, what are you hearing about what's going on right now?
Texting every number in my phone of people who might know what's going on here. It almost looked like he was asking, what do I have to do for your vote? But I mean, look, we all know what's happening here, which is that Kevin McCarthy in real time is as close as you can be. And he seems like, at least at this point, he is not over the finish line.
And he's walking away.
There. He's
look at somebody's
It's Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz and Lauren Boebert are not going to vote for Kevin McCarthy. So he's wasting his time over there. If anybody who watched the interviews that Matt Gaetz and Kevin McCarthy have been giving over the past couple of days, he is not not voting for McCarthy, and neither is Boebert. Can't speak for the rest of them, and Marjorie Taylor Greene probably wouldn't be, but she wants her committee assignments back.
Holding somebody back. Look at that. Oh, somebody just held somebody back. Stephanie, just look at that. It looks like a fight breaking out on the floor.
You and I should reenact
This is
that.
awesome.
Wow.
I want to see if there's different video of this. This looks like it's just happened. 5 minutes ago. Tension on the House floor rises as lawmakers take up 15th vote for Speaker. This was at 10:48 p.m. Pacific time, which is that's in the future. So I don't know how this story is at 10:48 p.m. Pacific time. Oh, look at that.
Hey.
Look, the show can go on.
I made it.
The show is complete now. How was your let's get ourselves at the same height here. I like to be the same.
Yeah, sorry. Here we go.
You like my horns?
I know. I heard that the devil was with you since I wasn't here.
The devil was with me because you weren't here. You know, I logged into the show and he was just like, I'm back. Oh, look at that.
It's
Lindsay
the power
shows
I
up
have. I can't do a
Lindsay
lot
shows
of
up
things,
and
but
the
I
devil
can get
leaves.
rid of the devil.
Which is amazing. It's an amazing skill.
Yeah.
Seeing as there isn't one.
Yeah. I know. It's
You
like,
know-
it's great for parties and, it's just one of those little like fun fact about me. I can get rid of the devil.
I was playing this
Hey, everybody.
this video. And I don't know about you, but it says here, this is from NPR. Tension on the House floor rises as lawmakers take up 15th vote for Speaker. I was about to read this article.
Yeah.
It says it was published January 6th. By the way, happy Insurrection Day to
I
everyone.
know. How was your Insurrection Day?
I went down to the Bakersfield Capitol, climbed the wall,
Mhm.
Broke the window, stole the
Yeah.
podium. It was a great time. And of course, the police were there and they were like, come on in.
Yeah, they're like, hey, this is how we celebrate. It's what the founders would want.
That's exactly what they would want. They were just waving people and come on, let's do this. But this was published January 6th, 2023 at 10. Oh, it's AM. Okay. I looked, I'm like, wait a minute, it's 10:48 Pacific time.
Wait,
That's in the future.
that can't be. No, that has to be an add-on because the 15th vote happened just like
It's
recently.
got it. Yeah, I was gonna say because this article was just published 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, they just keep like refreshing it. They aren't
Look
writing
at this
new
guy.
articles. I love it. How are you? Are you loving it? This is the best way to spend Insurrection Day is watching your own legislator just get absolutely wrecked.
So now I've told folks before, my significant other she's a conservative, but she was over at she saw him like at Panera on like at the Panera Bread over on Stockdale and I forget the cross street, but it's she saw him there picking up his order like on Friday. She was like, they called this guy Kevin, and I looked up and I'm like, I know that guy. And I'm like, he's not having a very good day.
No.
I don't think
having a
that
bad
Panera
time.
sandwich. And can I just say, I don't like Panera because I want a sandwich with meat. I don't know about you. Like Panera bread tastes fine, but
If
where's
I'm there, I'm eating macaroni and cheese. So
oh, look at that. Lindsay shows up to the show and Tons of Mice finally shows up. It's like Tons of Mice has been like just checking in every 5 minutes. just to see when Lindsay will get here, and then he's there. But look at the and I don't know why I can't make this bigger. I'm trying to make this bigger, but the look at the dejected look on his face.
I
When
love
people
it.
are all around him,
Giving
they're
me
patting him
life.
on his back. Look at this lady; she's patting him.
Do you know what this has taught me? I'm
the best picture ever.
I'm a Kevin McCarthy energy vampire. The more he suffers, the more life I live. So this has been phenomenal for me.
This is definitely becoming my my screensaver.
I know. This is
picture is the best.
fantastic.
Like she's like, "Oh, Kevin, it's gonna be okay," and the guy's whispering in his ear, "It's okay, Kevin. We'll go get you another turkey bacon club sandwich from Panera."
We can promise Bobert something else.
Yeah, but you can't promise her any more sexual favors because apparently she's doing that with Matt Gaetz now. But she's always been a big fan of sex criminals. I mean, she's married to one.
I would say that's how she met him. That's maybe her thing. I guess everybody has to have a thing.
But this says Republican leader Kevin McCarthy's. This was okay. So yeah, you're right. It was updated at 11:55 p.m. Eastern. I spent Insurrection Day taking. Oh, I'll let you read the comment. I've been reading comments. All day.
Okay.
You can read that one.
I spent Insurrection Day taking a new free bus route in West Haven, Connecticut to the 265R route. Was a great ride. That is a great way to spend the day.
Wheelie Snarky Dragon says, "I like the steak sandwich at Panera. But there's no meat on it, Wheelie Snarky Dragon." Like, it's
Wheelie Snarky Dragons in Connecticut too. We're real hot in Connecticut.
We are hot in Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
We are the number one show on Twitch in
Connecticut.
In Connecticut
right
at the
now,
moment
for maybe 10 minutes.
Right. Since there's like 8 people in Connecticut, and we have 2 of them, and then Tim Bristol, I also know watching from Connecticut, from Bristol. So 3 people from Connecticut. That's half the population. It's almost the population of Idaho.
Oh, probably like in one suburb. Wheelie Snarky Dragon, I think you're right. Like Panera is whitey white girl food. There's not much like seasoning. So that's why I'm okay with the macaroni and cheese because it tastes like macaroni and cheese, but it doesn't taste like much. I just think there's not a lot of flavor to the food, to be honest. So
yeah, I'm not a fan. I can live without Panera.
No.
I can do without it. But
it's not special.
Again,
I got put in Twitter jail today.
Oh, you did? For how long? What? For following?
12 hours. No, I'm so proud of this. I'm probably going to summon Mikey by what I say, but I was fighting with Dave Riley, the Nazi, and we were talking about abortion because the Idaho Supreme Court upheld the abortion bans, and he was talking about God and invoking God and everything, and he's like brought up his dad, and I was like, Dave, I think I'm gonna fuck your dad and give him a son he can actually be proud of. Anyway, I got banned for that.
But his dad is very excited.
Maybe. I don't know. I haven't floated the idea to him yet. So.
Well, I'm sure he's on Twitter. I mean, he's like, wait a minute, girls like me? He's probably like 90.
No, we don't like you. We just want to make Dave Riley's life hell, to be honest. So anyway, he got really bent out of shape about that. So it was worth it. 10 out of 10 would do it again.
They mass reported you. They're like, oh, this girl. Speaking of sex, we'll talk about sex in a minute. I have a somewhat sex related topic to talk about. But before I do that, let's go real quick back to KM here. How do I put this back in here? Oh yeah, there we go. Boop, boop. There we go. Republican leader Kevin McCarthy's protracted fight for the speaker's gavel remains in limbo as he still remains just shy of the votes needed to lead the chamber.
I
Motion
love
to
that.
adjourn until Monday failed, and a 15th vote is underway. As the chamber is about to enter its 5th day of voting for House Speaker.
Oh wait, so did they adjourn tonight?
I don't think so. They just said that
Okay,
they
I was
didn't.
like, oh, I thought you said they did till Monday. I was like, damn.
This
I
is
thought they were gonna-
C-SPAN. It might be live.
McCarthy, Nickel, Jeffries, Norcross, Jeffries.
Oh yeah, I guess over there it is Saturday already.
Yeah.
None of Iowa.
You got 5 present votes.
McCarthy.
That actually
Oh.
is a lot of that's a lot of present votes.
Did any of the Democrats vote present?
Obernolte.
If they did, they're fucking stupid.
I was gonna say I'd be so mad.
Cortez.
C-SPAN has been like the hottest show for the past 5 days.
McCarthy. Omar.
What a dick.
Jeffries.
For the
My
best seat in
God.
the house, McCarthy.
Good Lord.
He's loving the
These-
camera too. He's like, yeah, congratulations. You voted for McCarthy.
I know. These people are all really working for their soundbite. Like the guy who was like, Kevin Hearn.
Yeah, this is live. I was just trying to go forward. It's live.
Jeffries.
It moves pretty quickly.
I mean, I at this point they're probably like, all right, let's just go. Just go. I'm done. I'm so done.
Jeffries. Payne.
Are you able to hear the
Oh,
sound on this or
Boebert
no?
and Gates. Oh, so last one, Boebert and Gates voted present. Okay. I wonder what he's offering them. Like that's what are the deals?
I don't know. They almost got in a fight a minute ago.
McCarthy. Perez.
I know, C-SPAN. Tattoo lover, you're right. C-SPAN has some real gems.
McCarthy.
You just gotta think it's just so they're so far apart. Like C-SPAN is where it's at sometimes.
Jeffries.
I used to love watching C-SPAN
McCarthy.
because I was like, especially when I was like
Phillips.
a so-called moderate, like when I was in my progression.
Yeah.
Jeffries.
Because I'm like, oh, I'm just getting the raw data and I can interpret it. But it's 9 times out of 10, it's just too boring to watch.
I was gonna say it's just like it's so much just like garbage, not garbage, but just parliamentary procedure and then you get those moments and it's just absolute fire.
Ramirez.
But waiting through all the other stuff is hard.
Luskin.
Oh, thanks for saying Hakeem Jeffries. We were wondering which Jeffries.
McCarthy.
Can't wait for Jeffries to become speaker.
I loved how
It's not gonna
Jeffries was getting more votes than Kevin McCarthy for a while. Like, this is the red wave that just keeps giving. I love this. This is my favorite kind of red wave.
It's the red tinkle.
The red wave that just like now they're like drowning each other. I love it. This is fantastic.
This guy's looking at porn for sure. 1000%.
How you love how George Santos is like doo, 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 like all by himself. Did you see where he was like staring over everybody's shoulders? And Trevor Noah put it to the song, "I'm just a creep. I'm just a weirdo."
Roy.
Yeah.
And he's just like creepily staring at the camera.
Did he just vote for McCarthy?
Rupersberger.
Because that guy right there, I forget his name, but he's definitely been voting for Jordan.
Rutherford.
So nobody else has gotten a vote yet. This might be the one. This might be it right here.
This might be it. Oh my God. You guys are going to see it live. This is the kind of like hard hitting news we're bringing to you.
McCarthy.
We're watching
Yeah, it looks
C-SPAN
like-
at 10:30. Well, 10:30 my time on a Saturday night, Friday night. I don't know what day it is. I'm just so excited.
Jeffries.
It's Fry Saturday.
Santos.
Fry Sat. Depends on where you are in the country.
There's no votes for others and 5 votes for president. I'm pretty sure that there was only 2 votes for president in the recent.
McCarthy.
Do you have to stand up?
But George Santos, though,
Jeffries. Schiff.
I don't know, man. Like I don't think he's going to get removed.
Jeffries.
doesn't look like he's going to get removed.
Trump doesn't have consequences. I don't believe that Santos would. I mean, there were so many lies that was coordinated. You can't accidentally, like, I've seen how they vet candidates for Idaho legislative seats or just like even like city council seats. There's no way people didn't know that was going on. So
I turned the sound off on this so we could chatter instead.
Yeah, because I don't care. We can see the numbers.
Yeah, we can read.
So
We
there's
can watch
no
the
way
ticker go up.
Yeah, there's no way that people didn't know what was.
How fun
what
would
was
it be? How fun would it be just because it's Insurrection Day if they just decide to storm live right now?
Oh
We're
my
back.
God. I think the far right now hates McCarthy because of Boebert and what Matt Gaetz and all of them have been doing. And so everyone's talking about how McCarthy's trash. I agree, but for different reasons. And anyway, like even if he gets it, this is going to be such a mess for them. Like, and the far right is not happy with it. So the infighting will just continue. And I love that. They can just eat themselves. I'm fine with it. And that'd be really fitting in 2023.
Don't they all just look so angry? Look at Boebert down here playing with her hair. She's looking around. She's like, oh, Jeffries has closed the gap here. This is what you call the blue mirage.
The blue mirage. I know where it looks like it could be, but it's not gonna be.
Oh, they just put a present vote down and then took it off the board.
Oh.
Did someone change their vote?
Nobody's voted
Look
for
at him.
others
He's smiling.
yet. Oh. And this is it,
He's
maybe.
Smiling.
He
He's
knows
smiling.
he's got it in the bag. He made enough deals.
He had sex with enough guys' fathers this night.
I was going to say, he promised people enough things for their districts and committeeships and to get what they want.
If there's five present, then he needs 215, right? Or 216.
Isn't it?
It's 218, but one member of Congress is dead.
So he needed 217. So if there's 5, he needs 212. Right?
No, I don't think I think he needs less than, I think he needs a couple more than that. I think the math is a little bit funkier than that.
Because it has to be 218, right? 218 it's 218 just to get it.
Normally, yeah.
Oh yeah, so present abstain. So yeah, we'd only need 213.
Right. So we're almost there. We might as well just ride this out.
I would say this might be the one.
I think the last vote was like I thought the last vote was 215 to 214, but there was only two people, or 250. It was 215 to 212, I think. But there was only 2 present votes. Now you have 5.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's.
I think this will be the one.
And not one person has voted for like Jim Jordan or anything.
Yeah.
So he might win this by like 2 votes.
Oh, I know. Well, and that just shows that even though they have the majority, it's not a functional majority, which again is my favorite. Because if they're going to have to fight Boebert and Gaetz and that whole crew I love it. Let's do it.
Did you see they put legislation in there? Not legislation, but contingencies in there where they can call. Oh, Jeffries has taken the lead.
Yeah.
By 2. Blue mirage.
Yes. Oh yeah, where they can like replace him really easily. They can.
McCarthy just hit a free throw. Oh, Jeffries hits a 3 throw.
Blue rush. Okay. What if then they vote for Jeffries? Can you imagine? I would love that.
Yeah,
They're not going to, but that would be phenomenal.
It's
it's tied again. It's tied again. Here we go.
Everybody, tell Kevin it's 355. That would be so class. Kevin's like,
oh my
gosh. You probably believe it.
Yeah, he'd be
He's
like, all
such
right,
a
I got to
dope.
make promises to everyone. And that's the thing is, he's going to have to make so many promises, he's not going to be able to be effective because the far right will have no problem absolutely trashing him if they don't get everything they want. So he's, in effect, completely limited himself in any way to be a leader.
204, folks. We're down to crunch time.
Oh, 205 for McCarthy.
And McCarthy. Oh, Jeffries hits a point
Ooh.
with a nice layup under the basket.
Oh, there's
Maxine. Maxine with a basket. Not a huge fan of Auntie Maxine, to be honest with you, but she just scored a point for Jeffries there. I'm not a big fan of Jeffries either. I mean, nobody else has thrown.
No, God, no. Are you kidding me? Oh.
Yeah, he's stonewalled so many fucking progressive candidates that it's ridiculous. Uh-oh, McCarthy takes a 1-vote lead.
I love
we
how
know
the
that
lady.
Jeffries is. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just say the lady calling it. She is so sick of this shit.
She's probably
She's
like,
like,
"Oh wait, I'm sorry, I screwed up. We got to start over."
Oh, we got to start over. Oh, Jeffries for the lead again. Yes.
Oh, it's tied at. Dribble down the court. He fires and McCarthy with a
here we
basket.
go.
Jeffries goes under the rim. He shoots up.
Closing
and...
in on the last moments. Oh, here we
layup
go.
by Jeffries.
Everyone in the gallery is like, Jesus Christ.
Oh, no. He's got a 2-vote lead.
Might be it.
Oh, it goes to 3.
Here we go. Here we go.
Jeffries, you got to foul. You got to foul. Foul. You got to foul. And get the make him shoot the free throws.
Oh, they did it.
We saw it.
We watched it. This was historic, and we all saw it together. Oh, now he's so happy. Fuck him.
Look at everybody clapping. They're all clapping like, I just want to go home.
Can you imagine cheering?
He literally pulled out the last 4 votes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he made all kinds of deals.
How many dicks did you suck tonight, Mr. Speaker?
Absolutely. Just, this is going to be like the amount of, like, it's like Wheelie Snarky Dragon. You're right. Like, this is going to be a lame duck shit show. Like, that's going to be his legacy. It took him forever to get in, and then he couldn't do anything. He's the king of this mess. Oh, yeah. Oh, we didn't know this was oh, you guys. Too much. Thank you.
Don't worry. Don't worry. Yeah. You still get my wife later. Yeah, no worries.
Thank you, friends.
Yeah, you still.
Yeah.
You get that oil contract. You get that ag contract. You got it.
You got that chairmanship. Chairmanship. Yep. Yes. Oh, free college for all of your posterity.
Oh yeah, Marjorie. Oh yeah, thanks for the blowjob. It was good. Thanks. You get your committee assignment back.
No. God, stop. She's coming to Idaho in February. If you guys wanted to sponsor me to go see her.
Oh, you're going.
No, it's in North Idaho, so I probably should. I might die.
What's the difference between North Idaho and South Idaho?
The level of racism and the potential of a Nazi murdering me.
But it's closer to Canada. Wouldn't you think it'd be more like
there's still a border there?
Trudeau-y?
It's still no. God, no. No, North Idaho is like horrifying. I had a Republican friend. I was like, would you take me? And like, I'll just like lay low until I can get some good like sound bites and stuff. And they were like, no, actually, they're like, absolutely not. That you will get murdered by a Nazi. And I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, I would prefer that you not get murdered by a Nazi.
Yeah, me too. Me too. That's why I can talk so much shit on a lot of the Nazis, because they're like a full 8 hours away from me, except for when they like come for the legislative session, like they did this weekend. But like if I were to go up there, it probably would be bad. Like just like Dave Riley, he's up there, and I just told him where to go and how to get there. So
yeah, And now you're off Twitter for 12 whole hours.
I know.
Luckily, you'll be asleep for half of those hours.
I know. I'm almost done. So.
Yeah, we're gonna ban you. We actually had a Twitter that had like 11,000 followers at one point, and they banned it outright because we got into an argument over guns, and we were reported saying that we were threatening violence, and I'm like, how are you getting threatening violence about this? We were talking about the synagogue shooting in Pittsburgh, and they're like, oh, this guy said he was going to go do a synagogue shooting in Pittsburgh, and I'm like, did we say that? If we said that, you should call the FBI.
Yeah.
But you didn't. So there's like, oh, we're going to call Jack instead, because Jack is he is the beacon of punishment in this country.
Perfect. Tons of mice asked, isn't there some kind of weird end of the world camp in North Idaho? There's like 8 of them. And some failed comedian who like took too many psychedelics, he tried to build like an end of the world homestead camp, but then just took a bunch of people's money, and now he's like a shill for Kanye. So yes. Also, there's like a bunch of cults up there. There's a lot. It's a mess. I wouldn't go up there if I never had to. So you're muted, Dutch.
I've been having mute problems with this stupid studio today. All right. So real quick story.
Okay.
There was a Twitter story today, which I will put up here on the screen, about Hooters. So Hooters is apparently, why is it now? Oh, there it goes. Hooters, there was a story coming out that said if you're scrolling across Twitter over the winter break, chances are you ran across some variation of the claim that millennials killed Hooters because they don't like boobs. Quite a take to run across while you're still in your Christmas PJs. Needless to say, it's not true. This is from Oregon Live, by the way. It has perhaps a whiff of Stephen Colbert dubbed into it. The claim on social media said that Hooters, famous for its scantily clad waitresses, is shutting down and rebranding due to changing millennial tastes. As proof, the initial claim presented a study from Pornhub, the gold standard in industry research, who Googles the word boobies. A side note, the days of using millennial as code for young should be behind us. Okay, that's not important. So what really happened to Hooters? Were millennials all to blame? Here's the facts. The posts are representing a 2017 article that discussed some U.S. locations closing down, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So the rest of this is unimportant. But the point that I want to get to is this. The Hooters account on Twitter came out and said that they were like, this is the fakest news in the history of fake news. Twitter's not closing down. And then all these, I looked through and like all these right-wing accounts are like defending Hooters. Like, oh no, Hooters it's a great fucking family atmosphere. We love taking the kids there. It's a good place. And I was like, and I sent a tweet out and I was like, it's very interesting that you will see a bunch of white right-wing people sitting at Hooters on Sunday with their kids watching football. I thought the right wing was anti-sexualization of children. I could have
or grooming. That kind of sounds like some heterosexual grooming.
Yeah, like this. So I'm leaning towards none of that can be true. I'm just leaning towards the fact that. I'm stuck between two places, Lindsay. Help me out here. Either the right wing hates Hooters because they hate sexualization of children, or they're just fucking liars. I can't decide which. Could you help me?
It's that they hate gay people. They're fine with sexualization as long as it's heteronormative Christian-based sexuality.
But wait a minute, though. But wait a minute. Let me counterpunch that. I seem to remember them being against women being scantily clad during the Super Bowl halftime show. Why could that have been?
Sports are a team activity, and team activities are God's favorite activities. So that is fine.
Why didn't they like it then? Why didn't they
like
also
the Super Bowl halftime show? Well, they don't like it. Like it depends on who's doing the halftime show. That is a factor.
Oh, so could it possibly be that because it was Mary J. Blige and Snoop Dogg that maybe there was some, I don't know, I don't
Yeah.
want to say racist, but
Or like
super
some
racism?
Latina women, so, like the year before, that was a problem also. But so it really just depends on who it is. But like, or like child pageants where they dress their children like full grown women.
Yeah, those are all
That's-
Democrats, right?
That is a fun family activity that builds sportsmanship, and they're fine with it.
They're fine with this putting
Yeah.
makeup on kids. So they're fine with putting makeup on kids. They're fine with Hooters, but they're not okay with people reading to kids. And they're not okay with rap music, and rappers having, women in scantily clad dress, which is pretty similar to the Hooters dress, I should say.
Yeah, it's
Gosh,
just, it's
man.
different. Like if you had the Holy Spirit, you would know it's different.
That must be where I'm falling short. It's
Remember,
the
you
absence
had
of the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, it's the devil is in you, so you can't tell what is like appropriate and not appropriate. I'm sorry.
I thank you for helping me because I was
Yeah, you're welcome. I could see you
I just
struggling,
could-
so I got you.
Yeah, it was confusing me because I've been told my whole life that Republicans are Christians and they don't lie and they're not hypocrites.
Yeah, no, it's a hospital for the sick, so like also they don't know what they're doing. So that's a nice way to say like we fuck up, but we'd like to excuse ourselves from any consequences.
Yeah, it's just I'm really confused. They say they don't like pedophilia, but they voted for Matt Gaetz though.
Okay, but and they also love purity culture. That's like their most favorite thing.
Can you understand why this is confusing to me?
Well, yes, absolutely. Well, I was gonna say that's why their arguments are absolutely ridiculous because there's no consistency. It's rules for you and rules for them, and they're different. And as long as they feel their God justifies it, or they have grown up with it, so they feel like it's normal, it's traditional values.
Yeah, I guess you're right, but help me out with one more thing.
Okay.
Just before McCarthy was voted speaker just now, they were talking on conservative news outlets that that they had agreed on a committee to investigate the lies and deceit of the Biden administration. So they're probably, I mean, Republicans, they're definitely going to go after Trump too, because I mean, it was clear that he was lying, right?
So Trump one time held up a Bible near a church and said a prayer, and so he is exempt from also consequences.
Tons of mice. If you're gonna, do you want Anna and Lindsay to both kill you? The question is, does Lindsay believe birds are real or are they drones?
You know, it all depends on how many hallucinogenics you've had, to be honest. So yes, birds are real. Is this part of like a bigger joke I'm not aware of? Did I miss a joke with like Attorney Anna?
Yes, you missed it. It was
Okay.
like 4 months ago and it's never gone away.
Oh,
So
yeah, birds are real.
We did a
So are
spoof.
drones.
We did a spoof on birds aren't real.
Oh, okay.
And we were like, Mijas and Mikey were like, oh yeah, I'll post the video in the chat. We're all like, oh yeah, I mean, have you ever seen a baby pigeon? Of course, like the FBI was using pigeons to look at people. You know, we just went through this whole thing, and Anna's like, she thought we fucking really believed.
Oh no, poor Anna. She's like, what the hell? I gotta get off of this. You guys lose my number.
So once in a while, tons of mice will just pop in and be like, I can't take any. I don't care what Anna says. She believes that birds are actually real. So
Oh my gosh.
it's a long running inside dig
See,
on
I didn't know
America
about
joke.
that. I was like, I feel like there's something here, or this is gonna take like a weird turn. So
A lot of things take a weird turn on this show.
yeah, I mean, we did an exorcism last week. Sometimes it's a weird turn because of me, but I just didn't know where we were going with that.
Well, that makes it more fun.
Yes, the surprise element is great.
I mean, McCarthy had no idea where it was going when he went into the negotiation room with Marjorie Taylor Greene. So, it went swimmingly well, I guess.
I loved when my favorite thing, one of my favorite things is when all the Republicans start telling each other secrets, because they are all just horrible people. And so I love when they're like, no, they're more horrible. And they're like, they're a hypocrite because this. I love it. Absolutely love it. That's fantastic.
That's the thing. That's the thing that always bugs me is like people do this a lot. They'll be like, oh, well, the left is just as bad. And I'm like, that's the one line that drives me up the wall.
Mm-hmm.
No,
it's not
sorry.
the same.
It's just, you can criticize some things on the left, but they're not trying to literally rip rights away from people every single day and attack groups that they don't like.
Exactly. No, it's not even, it's just something people say when they don't really understand the issues and they want to appear moderate or neutral or like thoughtful about a subject. Because it's not even close. It's one side is saying LGBTQ people should not exist. And the other side is like, I think everyone should have health care. That would be helpful to a lot of people in this country, or at minimum, all children should have access to health care.
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody's like, these are the same. These groups they're not the same. That's not the same.
No. And that's the thing that drives me up the wall. It's like we yell pretty loud about things like healthcare, get money out of politics, minimum wage, green energy, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
We yell pretty loud about it, but they're yelling loud about drag queens reading to kids and Benghazi and Hunter Biden's laptop and stopping voting on Sundays for Black people, and telling us that Black Lives Matter
and immigration.
Oh yes, the open borders, which aren't open.
Yeah. Yep. And even still like marijuana and access to inexpensive college or paying off college loans.
Oh yeah, we're so crazy for paying off people's a tiny slice.
Yeah.
A tiny slice.
People having reproductive rights. Just those crazy, It's
and quick note, by the way, for anyone who qualifies for the student loan forgiveness of the $10,000, that website is up. So it went up about a month and a half ago. I still have to go on there and do it because for most people, it's not going to happen automatically. So check that out if you qualify.
Yeah, I think they're still accepting, but not running applications.
Yeah, you have some time. Like you have I think 6 more months, but don't wait and be the last person who does that.
Well, because it's all stayed by that stupid lawsuit. So
there's going to be more lawsuits every time the Biden administration does something good for the country. They're going to file a lawsuit, and the left is going to fight it with their wimpy glove. They're going to put their wimpy gloves on and be like, send
you guys, please.
Yeah, oh well, what if we strip the legislation down a little bit? Then will you let us do it? And they'll be like, yeah, let's do $1,000, and then they'll all still vote against it.
Yeah,
and say the exact same thing that they were saying before.
I know. I applied immediately the moment, in the beta test group when the website went up, and then I got my letter. It was like, we have all your information and you're approved. And then the lawsuit got filed, and I was like, you dumb bitches, you motherfucking bitches. So.
Wheelie Snarky Dragon says they're not accepting right now. So you have the website was supposed to go live in right before Thanksgiving, and you had 6 months. So did something happen and that not go live? Because I know
it did. It did because it went live mid-October. And then, well, for the beta group, and then it went live beginning of November for everybody else. And then I know they paused it with the lawsuit. So I don't know if they're still accepting or if they're just not doing anything right now.
New Year brings the restart of payments. The Supreme Court case on Biden's debt relief plan and other potential. Oh, this is from the fucking stupid New York Times. So I have to pay. Oh, it's letting me read this one.
Oh, hey.
For borrowers banking on student debt forgiveness, 2022 started with hope. This year will provide clarity. I'm just skimming through this. Biden's plan is now headed for a showdown in the Supreme Court, which is expected to rule its legality by June.
And like shocker, it's going to say no.
Supreme Court oral arguments are February 28th. Okay. I didn't know about that, so I was outside of the know on that one. So
I loved, I don't know who it was, but somebody who just made a whole thing where they're like, as of like February or March of this year, it's been a little over 3 years since any payments have been expected. And they're like, I think if you can go this long with the vast majority of people making no payments, that is not needed to, like, we hear about all these terrible things it would do to our economy. Oh, it's going to destroy this and that and the other. And I know that there are investments made based on it and based on its continuance. So I get that. But the fact that there's been no payments and it hasn't like significantly impacted our economy in like minimally, but not in a way where we're like, oh my God, everything's falling apart for everyone if students aren't paying their loans back. Just the fact that no payments have been made, there hasn't been any movement on that. And nothing's happening. Like it's a mirage. It doesn't have to exist. It exists so that they can continue to utilize students to enrich others.
Yep. And they have to do that because I don't know. What could possibly be the reason? Could it be because those are their donors?
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah. I was going to say the people who are the donors and are on the boards. It's the people who are making bank off of this are the people who rub shoulders with the top people at colleges and with the investment firms. And so of course they like, I did a whole TikTok about, they admitted in the early 2000s that they were, colleges were raising rates. They recognized that they were going to make it easier for students to get loans and then change the terms of those loans and change how they were administered and offer private loans. And they're like, this is a cash cow that will never end. Like even in the early 2000s, they were recognizing like we're screwing generations up financially, but it's fine because they have to go to college and I get 5 yachts. So screw them. They know what they're doing. You're still muted
again. They definitely know. It's just overwhelmingly irritating. Speaking of overwhelmingly irritating, though, and I think this is something that we're going to do to try to help promote Lindsay's TikTok also, because she's a big TikToker and she's a good TikToker. So you should check her out on TikTok. This is from Twitter. Oops, I forgot to share the sound.
Twitter, where I'm in jail. I'm in Twitter jail.
Yeah, but we can still watch your Twitter. You just can't.
Oh, I know. I'm just mourning. It's my first time in jail, guys.
So how is the food in there?
It hasn't been great, to be honest.
Did they feed you
nothing.
Panera?
They didn't even offer me anything. Elon Musk is a stingy jailer.
No, you don't. He seems like he would be a really, really like he was probably cut out for that.
Oh, he would love that. Are you kidding me?
For being like a jail.
He would Hunger Game that shit so fast.
What do they call a jail runner?
A warden?
Oh yeah, like a warden.
I don't know.
He would be the best. He would be the best fucking warden in the history of jails. Like nobody would ever get.
I mean, Best is doing a lot of heavy lifting there. I don't know
Oh,
that
the
best
best-
means the same thing for all of us.
No, by best I mean worst. All right, Lindsay, I'm going to play this TikTok, and then you get to talk a little bit more about it.
All right.
This is what's happening in Idaho these days.
The Idaho Supreme Court upheld the near total abortion ban and ushered in a new state motto, Idaho, where corpses have more bodily autonomy than half our population. There are no exemptions for health or life of the pregnant person under these abortion bans. Literally, the only thing keeping pregnant people from dying of very common pregnancy complications is a stay from the Department of Justice that is currently being appealed by the Idaho legislature and the Attorney General's office. Under these abortion bans, if someone gets an abortion, every single one of their family members can sue the medical provider for $20,000. Under the Idaho abortion ban, if someone is scraped and chooses to get an abortion, every single one of the scrapist's family members can sue the doctor. How did they justify this decision? They said that they can't read a fundamental right to abortion in the Idaho state constitution. They said that they've always interpreted it based on a plain and ordinary meaning of the text as intended by those who wrote it. So you're telling me that we don't get bodily autonomy because a group of men who didn't give women the right to vote, who thought that mercury was medicine, who couldn't tell me what a virus is or explain to me the role of a period in reproduction, because they didn't say the exact words, people should have the right to an abortion, we don't get reproductive rights? Now, isn't that some horseshit? Because the Idaho Constitution explicitly says the inalienable rights in Idaho include enjoying and defending life and liberty, pursuing happiness, and securing safety. And wouldn't you know it, abortion potentially does all of those things. Furthermore, this enumeration of rights shall not be construed to impair or deny other rights retained by the people. Is that clear enough for you, Robin, Richard, and Gregory? Or do you need the dumbass's guide to the Idaho State Constitution?
Okay. I have nothing to say. Go. Just be you.
Oh, well, that was a surprise for me. Didn't know we were doing that. Yeah, so it was a vote 3-2. And they said, we can't, there's no, like, in Idaho at that time, there weren't any laws regarding abortion, and we can't see anywhere where they talked about abortion. So it doesn't seem clear to us that they would have advocated for abortion. So sorry, guys. And they're like, we don't necessarily think that liberty is for anyone who has a uterus. I don't think that the men back then believed that. So guess you're all screwed. So
real quick, when was the Idaho Constitution written?
1890.
So they had AR-15s then.
No, and they didn't have school vouchers or school choice. They didn't have, they didn't have a lot. They had cocaine and heroin. They had a lot of that. There was no Viagra back then. So I don't think that it's enumerated that you should have access to that.
It just sounds very convenient.
Oh, it is very convenient. And then their other reason was, well, we shouldn't legislate from the bench. Like, if this is the will of the people, it's rule of law. But the whole point of rule of law is the equal application of the law, regardless of people's gender, ethnicity, social standing, economic resources. But they chose to interpret that as, well, our legislators are like batshit cuckoo crazy, and they made these laws. So now it's the rule of law. Oh my God. Tons of mice. I should make a dumbass's guide to the Idaho Constitution. Okay, that sounds phenomenal. I'd love to do that.
Now read to you by the shoeless Lindsay. She wears no shoes.
Yeah, just specifically for tons of mice.
She'll call it Idaho the entire time.
Oh, the Idaho Constitution. So there were two dissent. This is we're getting some deep cuts here. But so the two dissenting votes said basically common sense. They were like, liberty, health, safety, all of that should be equally applied, regardless of your ability to have a baby or not. And someone else said, they were like, rule of law doesn't mean if you make a law, it is the rule. I'm like, I'm confused. I need to look more into the justices of the Idaho Supreme Court because some of them, it feels like they blew in out of stupid town. And we're just like, rule, if it's a law, that's rule of law, right? Like they don't seem to understand that concept. So it is Idaho.
Stupid
that
Town,
could
by the
be,
way, is in Montana, right?
probably. I mean, yeah. I mean, Montana is like, that's why it's really windy on the eastern side of Idaho, is because Montana is actually Biden like sniffing Idaho. So
Maybe they should build a wall.
we can make Montana pay for it. Which sounds fair. How dare they? How dare they affect us like that? It's not our fault.
Can you imagine if they said we're going to build a wall to keep the white supremacists out of Idaho that are coming in from Montana, and they were like, oh, why would you want to do something so hateful?
Yeah, they'd be like, "Are you serious? That's our line. It's different. We don't like when you do that to us." So anyway, so right now in Idaho, there are no exemptions for life or health of the pregnant person. So there's a Department of Justice stay, like I talked about, but that's currently being appealed by the state and the Attorney General's office. And now our Attorney General is Raul Labrador, who is a psycho. So that's not great. And so if you rape someone and they get an abortion, all of your family members can sue the doctor for $20,000 per family member. And there's no limit. So it's like anybody even almost related. So the conservatives have this little racket going that could potentially be very profitable for someone. Or just like, let's say in an imaginary scenario, I decided to get an abortion. Well, my very Christian family, if they found out about it, could sue the doctor, even though it's what I wanted, it's my health care. They could sue the doctor for $20,000 a piece because they don't agree with my decision. So it puts, besides just the fact that there are no exemptions, so there's no reasons anyway, even in instances of rape of incest, which there are supposed to be exemptions, those providers can be sued by all the family members. So basically there is a total abortion ban in Idaho for all intents and purposes.
That's just fucking great. Sorry to have you do that. But I mean, when I was watching that TikTok video earlier, I was like, usually you have this look on your face of laughable anger with a hint of go fuck yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But there's usually like this sly behind the serious face smile. And you threw a couple of jokes in there, like I throw my dad jokes in and stuff. I guess yours are mom jokes.
Yeah.
But I didn't really like this one. Seemed mostly just pissed. So I was like, she's hot, Lindsay, right now. Like she's not pleased.
Not happy. I was very, very upset. I had Blaine Kinsati of the Idaho Family Policy Center has basically authored all of those bills and gotten them passed. And he lies in the whole article about how, they're same lies. I was going to go in hot for him. Like there's so many things. I really had to edit myself because I was furious, like absolutely furious. And I was coming off of work. So I was like tired and angry and I was really mad.
Well, you're in Twitter jail. You don't want to go into Twitter prison.
I know.
We need your voice on Twitter for sure. But when I saw that, I was, like I said, I was just like, oh, there's no fucking way that I'm not fucking playing this shit on this show because she is fucking snapping.
I was so mad. I know. I probably will. I'll probably make like Blaine. There was a whole thing going because there was a woman who had a miscarriage in Idaho, and she made a TikTok about why we need reproductive care. And questions about whether it had to do anything with abortion or not. And so I had posted a TikTok about that, and Blaine was like, I'm glad we could agree. And I told him where to go and how to get there, and to never, ever, ever think he could approach me ever again for any reason. And he asked me
So
to be
did
more.
he approach you before, like for stuff?
Yeah, one time he, just like on Twitter, he approached me one time and was like, I don't think you know how it works. So I asked him how a heart works, and he was unable to answer. And I told him to go fuck himself. But he was like, I was just trying to be nice to you. And I was like, literally, go light yourself on fire. I don't care. So Mike, you might have to cut that. But I didn't go to Twitter jail that day. But so he just off and on has approached me, and I've just told him where to go. And he's like, I thought we could have a nice conversation. I'm like, I would rather like choke on my tongue. I will never, ever, ever have anything nice to say to you. So there'll probably be a Blaine video, because I thought of like just absolute some bangers. So I will have to record those sometime, because he deserves it.
Wheelie Snarky Dragon says it's also against a Jewish faith, because it is law that if the pregnancy is risking the life of the mother, it is why for eons Jewish women avoid Catholic hospitals for pregnancy treatment.
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't even know that.
And there's so there's questions about that, because Jewish faith, which is a more historic and established religion, but then also the Satanic Temple, it's one of their sacraments. And so they filed lawsuits in Texas, and I think they're going to look at filing a lawsuit in Idaho, because that is against their religious liberty.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, I believe it's the Book of Numbers, literally advocates for abortion within the pages of the Bible. What it says specifically, I'm going to paraphrase here, is that if a man believes that his wife has been unfaithful and she's pregnant, that he can bring her to the tabernacle, and the priest will make I believe they call it an unpleasant potion from the dust of the floor, and give it to the mother. And if the baby dies, then she was unfaithful. And if it doesn't die, then it's the husband's. So call me crazy, but that sounds like selective abortion to me.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, the bitter waters. Thank you. Tons of mice. I thought it was unpleasant, but as I said, I was paraphrasing.
Yeah. Remember. And Willie Snarky Dragon is right. Like he said, my grandma needed an abortion and couldn't get one in Nebraska, and she nearly died. There are those stories all over our history. One of the Idaho representatives, her mom died because she tried to do an abortion at home. Died when the representative was a small child. This was, I believe, in the 60s. So it was still illegal, and they couldn't get access to an abortion. And so she tried to do one at home, and she died. And so we're just one generation removed from that, and now we're going back to it.
I'll never understand why they don't understand the difference between, like, is a zygote, fetus, baby, whatever you want to call it, is it alive? Yes. It's not an independent life.
No, and
it's not. And it may be a situation that, like, look, I'll be honest with you. I wish it didn't exist. I wish it was never necessary. But that's not the world that we live in.
No,
we live.
Yeah. No, nobody wants reproduction to be that complicated, but it is. I wish we had such a handle on reproduction that only people who absolutely wanted to and could safely get pregnant did get pregnant.
Sure.
That's
I feel bad for people who try to get pregnant and can't.
Yeah. Like, I wish we lived in a scenario, a Star Trek world, where if you wanted to be pregnant and you safely could be pregnant, you did. And
you
if
saw
you didn't want to
Dr.
be
Crusher.
pregnant, yeah. And if you didn't want to be pregnant, you just wouldn't get pregnant. I wish we lived in that world. and all babies were carried to term and there were no major health concerns.
Right.
Absolutely. I wish NICU nursing didn't exist because we didn't need it. But that's not the reality. And so the reality is it's very, very, very complicated. And in a lot of instances, abortion is necessary and it's necessary healthcare. And so the problem is they don't want there to be any nuance. Because as soon as there's nuance, you have to have empathy and you have to relate to people that you have spent your entire life or political career demonizing. And so as soon as you have to say like, well, that might not be the choice I make, or like they might be in life circumstances that are unfortunate, so they should make the best choice for themselves, then you don't get to play prosperity gospel. Then you don't get to play arbitrator of good and evil. You don't get to draw these hard lines and decide that everyone on one side is evil and you're good. So
yeah, it's, well, first of all, if a fetus is a person, just quick point. If a fetus is a person, if an unborn baby is a person, a pregnant woman can drive in the carpool lane. Simple. No reason that they can't. But the like what people talk about a lot, and it was very interesting because I was listening to Ben Shapiro talk about this like a while back when he's of course a fucking lunatic. But he made an argument. He was like, the right shouldn't argue from the fringes and the left shouldn't argue from the fringes on abortion. Like, and the example that he made was that the left will talk about the cases of rape and incest, which are a minority of abortions. And that's true. And the right will argue about like the late term abortions, like after 9 months, which is an extremely small amount. And that's also true. But then of course he went into like 8,000 different fallacies and basically did the exact same thing that he said not to do. So it discredited the interesting premise that he started with, right? Where he was like, oh, we shouldn't do this, but here I'm going to do it. But like you have situations where people are like, I'm 48. Melissa's 45. If we were to get pregnant and it's not like we haven't taken the steps to not, I am not supposed to be able to have kids. I had a date with a pair of scissors about 5 years ago. And but it's not impossible, right?
No,
like, so people are on birth control. They get that needle thing. What is it? I forget what they call it. Other people are on the pill, it's not impossible. So if you have a baby, if you get pregnant when you're 16 or when you're 46, you could even be like, they'll be like, oh, well, you should be more responsible. A lot of times these people are being responsible and it just happens.
Yeah.
And like, if you, and like they stand so deeply in front of contraception also that it really makes their argument. There's holes in the glass. It doesn't hold any water whatsoever. Because like, if we were to get pregnant now, like you're telling me that that we should have a kid, we should have our 5th child, when at a time in our life where I'm looking for a job in Texas because we're moving there. So I left my job.
Yeah.
I have no health insurance right now. Right now she does, but in the case that it was the tables were turned, people are allowed to do that. They're allowed to look for a new job and to transition their life and to move. Right. So, you know what? We got pregnant and now we have to go. I don't have any health insurance, or I have to now allocate the money that I'm already spending on 4 kids to a 5th child. It could endanger her career. She could be up for a promotion and then she gets discriminated against because of the fact that she's pregnant, and the hiring manager, they can't do it on purpose, but they can just say, well, the other person is more qualified. And how are you going to prove it? Well, yeah, we don't want to give the job to a person who might become pregnant, this is something that held women back in the workplace for a very long time.
For decades. Yeah.
And like, it's how many women, were like, oh, I have to put off having a family. So then you also have to put off having sex, or make sure, doubly sure that you that your birth control doesn't fail, which it does 1% of the time. It's just, but the bottom line is that they just don't want you to have sex unless you are purposely trying to have a baby, because that's what their religion, not all of them, but a lot of them believe that the religion says you only should have sex if you're trying to have a baby. Paul himself was very anti-sex. He even said it's best to refrain, so it's like a lot of these folks, they just think that sex is not something that you should do because their religion says it, and they try to impose that shit on everybody.
Or they want you to be punished if you have sex in ways that they don't approve of or condone, or if you aren't like adhering to their standards, because I don't think they standards are supposed to be positive, and I think a lot of theirs are just controlling and toxic, manipulative and abusive. But yeah, no, you absolutely hit the nail on the head. Like the whole point is to punish people. It's not about it, and it's punishing people who can get pregnant under the guise of protecting a baby. And I know I'm not the first one to say this. I'm like, lots and lots of people have said this, but these fetuses, these embryos, are the perfect group to advocate for, because they are, they aren't an actual group. They are the idea of a group or the hope of a group. Right. They don't have needs. They aren't complicated. They aren't going to fight you with you. They aren't going to, they aren't messy. They haven't, if a woman wants an abortion, she's going to have made choices somebody doesn't agree with, or said something somebody doesn't agree with. So then they'll be like, well, maybe she deserves this. Maybe that never happens with a fetus, because they can't
actions
say
have
anything.
Consequences, Lindsay.
Exactly. And so advocating for a fetus is like advocating for like clouds. Sure. Like, we all like clouds. Don't you want clouds? Like, it gets too sunny, you get sunburn. Clouds are nice. We all like shade. It's not advocating for something that's real. And that's why they stick to that group, and they think they're very superior and moral for sticking to that group, because it's not a group that exists in any way that could ever be controversial.
How many funerals do they have for miscarried babies in the Christian community? I've never seen one.
Oh, not even in Mormonism. In Mormonism, until a baby takes like its first breath, like until it like has to be born alive, or else it can't be put on the records of the church. So even within Mormonism, they implicitly imply if it wasn't born, it wasn't born. But if you get an abortion, then you'll get kicked out of church.
But they're saying that because you're playing. They think if the baby wasn't born, I'm guesstimating here. They're probably saying that if the baby wasn't born naturally, it was because it was God's choice. But you don't get to make the choice. You don't get to play God. I'm sure they'd say something like that.
Oh yeah, they say like we just don't know. We don't. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't really care. If they cared, then they'd give you health care. If they care, then they'd take care of kids afterwards. If they actually cared about adoption, the people who are standing out there with signs and pictures of babies, chopped up babies from abortion clinics, that's a good argument.
If they actually cared, they would be outside IVF clinics, because nobody aborts more than IVF clinics.
What is an IVF clinic?
In vitro fertilization.
Oh, okay.
Because they'll have couples will get like 30 embryos and pick from those based on they grade them on how likely they are to be successful and how well they replicated. And so couples will pick like 2 or 3, have a couple of kids, and then just destroy the rest. Like hundreds and thousands of embryos are destroyed every day. And they're never picketing IVF clinics. They're never calling IVF parents murderers.
That's a fair point. I hadn't thought about that.
Like they're never there. And that's, I'm probably going to say something controversial. Is it technically like yes, it cells replicating. Like my skin is technically life. These cells are replicating. But not all life is equal in value and and liberty under the law, like whatever. They're all not equal under the law. And in vitro is a great example. Like if I was in a burning in vitro clinic and I can either take 1,000 embryos, the potential for 1,000 human lives, or I can take a newborn baby. I can't carry both. I can carry one or the other out of this burning in vitro clinic. Which should I take?
I'm sorry, I'm laughing at tons of mice. You just have no tact whatsoever. But yeah, I've heard that argument before, and that's I think that's a very fair one, because they'll of course tell you that they're going to save the living person.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, and then they characterize women who, and this is, and they do the same thing with gay people, with trans people, with even with minorities sometimes.
Yeah.
Where they'll be like, they'll say, oh, you're out there celebrating your abortion, or you're out there celebrating your status as a trans person. And that's not necessarily what is happening most of the time. Most of the time, it's there may be an outlier when it comes to abortion. You can always find a weird person who's like outside of the spectrum of normal. But 9 times out of 10, what they look at as people celebrating their abortions is a woman saying, I no longer have to be embarrassed to talk about the choice that I made in public, because I will not be shamed or disfellowship from my church. Well, you might get disfellowship from your church, but you're not going to lose your job over it. You're not going to be like, people aren't going to walk by your house anymore and be like, oh, that's the baby killer's house.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
just like even people, I know people in the early 2000s and like 2010s who got abortions and still felt like, I can't really talk about it. Like, or they couldn't say like, I had an abortion and my life was phenomenally better. That was the right choice for me. That's still, even up until like 2015, 2016, that was still kind of taboo to say. Like, I think people would be surprised if they knew how many people had abortions. Like in the NICU, there's this whole little like sequence of numbers that we see in patient charts that tell us like how many times they've been pregnant, how many kids they've had, how many stillbirths, abortions, all these different numbers.
Right.
So many people have had abortions, so many more than I think people would realize. It's so incredibly common to get an abortion. And they want to limit it to like, oh, it's just like a slutty 21-year-old in college, which if they want an abortion,
or you wouldn't have been raped.
I literally don't care. Go for it. But I don't think they know like Mormon mommies have had abortions. Hasidic Judaism women, which is different than normal Judaism. These are not Hasidic. What is it? The Messianic Jews, where they're like evangelical, but
they believe in
claim
Christ.
that they're just But they aren't even Jewish. I looked it up. Like they're not Jewish, actually. They're just like evangelicals who have adopted Judaic laws.
Judaism.
Anyway,
exactly. Most
I've
of the
seen,
time.
and they're like, don't believe in birth control. I've seen Messianic Jews who've had abortions. I've seen like so many people, like evangelical women come in, have had abortions. Tons of people have had abortions. And then, which fantastic. I think that's great. If that's the right choice for you, I want everyone who wants one or needs one to be able to have one. But I don't think people realize how incredibly common it is.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I think it's a lot more common than, and that's the thing, is that people, that was the whole case in the first place, was about privacy, right? So
yeah.
And like it should be between a woman and her doctor, and possibly between the woman, the doctor, and the potential father, as to what happens. And that's it. It doesn't need to go any further than that. You know, like I get the fact that abortion can be traumatic. I've been through one. I've been through more than one before, right?
Yeah.
Like I had a girl have an abortion who I wasn't necessarily in favor of it 20 something years ago. And like, I was like, you know, it made me sad. It's okay for me to have been sad, but I also like, I haven't spent my whole life hating her because she made a choice. You know what I mean? Like that was her choice to make. I wasn't the one who was going to go through 9 months of labor. And it is
9
what
months
it
of
is.
labor would kill you, I think.
Or 9 months of Yeah.
But I would, if it was 9 months of labor, I
Even
would
9
do the
hours
job.
of
Like,
labor.
damn.
Yeah. Even 9 hours of labor.
Oh, I
But
did more than 40. It was not great. Would not do again.
Oh my God, 40 hours? That's like a work week.
It was absolutely the worst experience.
Yeah, but it's these are for 99% of people who are pro-life. Asterisk, air quotes, because they're not pro-life.
No.
They're pro-birth.
No, they're pro.
They're pro-control.
They're pro the idea of a fetus.
And it's this, but 99% of those people will also be against gay and trans people.
Mm-hmm.
Because and again, it's about the sex. It's always boils down to the sex. They think that sex is irresponsible and that it is ordained, or not ordained, but that it was created and blessed by God for a specific purpose. And that's fine if you believe that that's true. Like, that doesn't impact my life at all if you believe that, until you make it impact my life.
Yeah.
And when you make it impact my life by making it a law, that's where we have a problem, and they fail to see that.
Exactly. That's the thing. If you don't like abortion, don't get one. I don't care. I don't care. But don't tell me what I can do. And don't think that your religious views should be the laws of the land. If you think it's against your God's laws, don't do it. Absolutely don't do it. But that doesn't mean I can't do it. And that doesn't
here's
mean
the funny
that
thing.
you
We'll
should
fight
have
for your freedom to do that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, if I found out that somebody was being pressured to have an abortion, absolutely, I'm against that. I'm all like, no, you don't pressure either way.
Right.
But legally, you shouldn't be able to say what somebody does or doesn't do. Because if there was a law that was like, everybody has to get an abortion until they're 25, I'm not for that either. Like, that's not okay. But then saying that there are laws where you can't get an abortion, that's not okay either. You can't, that's immoral.
Yeah. Wheelie, I see your comment there. My mom is unfortunately one of those folks. She calls Jesus Yeshua, and she's like, oh, we're the Hebrews now and all that type of stuff. And it's like, I'm not sure she identifies as Jewish, but she like everything with her is about Judaism and the original Hebrew and, all of the, but it's got this caveat of like trying to usher in basically what I'm going to give you guys, the playbook actually here. Evangelicals want to do whatever they can to usher in the rapture.
Yeah.
They're not going to be successful, because I got news for you. The rapture isn't even really biblical. Revelations is an apocryphal text that was added 500 years after the rest of the Bible because it was useful. It was useful for the bishops.
No, it's all God wrote it all with his own hands.
With his own hands, and wrote in 162 direct contradictions with his own hands.
Yeah, well, you know what? We don't know the mind of God, Dutch.
Yeah, maybe those contradictions.
He might not know his own. He might not know his own mind either. It's fine.
Can God write a book Is he omnipotent enough to write a book that even he can't read?
You know what, Dutch? He does not appreciate your snark.
But I had the devil in me before. I mean, the devil was here.
True. Oh shit, that was
time.
the devil. Guys, do we need another exorcism? Is the devil back?
Well, we're going to have another exorcism. We are going to do another exorcism at Easter. Yes. Yes, we're going to have another Easter exorcism. But I don't think it's going to be me, though. I think we're just going to have a conversation with. We'll exercise me real quick, and then I'll have something better scripted, and we'll talk with Lucifer again, right? So leave the snarky to me, Dutch. Hey, that is in your name. The wheelie snarky is definitely in your name. But my message to the religious folks is, stay out of other fucking people's business.
Stop it right now.
Just like it's
Dutch.
It's cool.
I'll let you finish, and then I gotta tell you about my whole tribe of Israel thing. Okay, so I was Mormon, and when you're like a Mormon teen, you get something called the patriarchal blessing, and basically it's just like this like rote blessing that's like, stay Mormon so that your life will be good if you're Mormon and shit if you're not. But one big part of it is you find out which tribe of Israel you're a member of. This is a big deal. This is a big deal because each of the tribes have a different role in the second coming of Jesus. And so everybody wants a good one and not a stupid one. The most common ones, if you're just like run-of-the-mill Utah Mormon, you're going to be from the tribe of Ephraim. And your whole job is to go preach the gospel to everyone, go be a mission, like be a Mormon. Or if you have any indigenous like heritage that the patriarch knows about, then you're the tribe of Manasseh. And that was basically the same thing. But sometimes people would get like Naphtali or like
Lutheran.
Levi. If you were the tribe of Levi, then and you're a man, because if you're a woman, like, I don't know.
Because it's priestly. Yeah.
Yeah. But if you were the tribe of Levi, then any ward you were in, you could automatically ask to be the bishop, to be the leader of it, because that was your birthright. And then some people, you're going to love this, Wheelie Snarky Dragon. Some people in their blessing, just like a fortune telling, like a really bland, stupid Mormon fortune telling, they would bless them and tell them that they were from the tribe of Judah. So those Mormons would be like, actually, I am a Jew. It was rare. It wouldn't happen a lot. But they would be like, actually, I'm from the tribe of Judah. So anyway, I was just Ephraim. It was very boring. So it was just like, you should go on a mission and have a lot of babies. So that I was disappointed.
I love this world.
But anyway, so that's a fun little like, that's a fun extra Mormon tidbit. But so then Mormons will like, they feel like this special like kinship. Only they do. No, like it's just so stupid. But they're like, we're like part of the house of Israel. It's so dumb. So they're like, hey, fellow Jews. Like, it's so bad. It's so bad. It's unfortunate and embarrassing.
Quickly, I know you got to go and you got to do your ASMR. I think I'm going to watch this actually in a minute. I'm going to do my stream after this one's over. So when we're done here, we'll raid my other channel. If you guys want to stick around for that. But Answers in Genesis is trying to prove that they've done some videos recently where they're trying to prove that like there were Europeans in America before the Native Americans. So like they literally have videos with a Native American in full headdress saying, with a arrow pointing at them in like the title screen saying not the real original Americans. And they're doing this because they want to be able to justify the taking of the land. Right.
Yeah.
Like there's always like some sort of sinister motive with these guys.
Oh, that's a huge part of Mormonism. There's a whole song there's a song that the children sing with really offensive hand gestures about why indigenous people shouldn't have their land because they were sinning against God. It's really embarrassing.
I don't want to hear it. We won't. I'll let you sing that on Twitter, and then you can go.
No, I think
Twitter,
if I actually were to sing it, I would be canceled. It's pretty horrendous.
Well, not with Elon. Elon would probably like promote. You probably have 75,000 followers in like a day with Elon. Be like, I love this account. Check this song out.
I know. He'd be like, no, this is free speech.
Yeah, we love the bigotry here.
Yeah.
Okay, so Lindsay, two things before you go. Number one. If you guys like the women's rights and the women's topics conversation, get ready because in a few days,
January 11th. Yes. 5 days.
Yes. The ladies of Dig on America are going to get together and take over this shit. And I can't wait to watch that. And I think I think you guys are going to do it like monthly or bi-monthly. I forget, but is bi-monthly twice a month or which one is
every 2 months?
Okay, so semi-monthly would be 2 times a month.
Yes. I think we talked. Did we talk about this last time?
And that's what I think that was what confused me.
Yeah.
Because I went into it with one thought, and then I'm like, okay, bi-monthly is 2 times a month. But no,
I
then
think we're
somebody
just.
said,
I think we're doing it.
and I don't remember.
I think we're doing it monthly.
Yeah. Okay.
One time a month.
And we're gonna get some women guests, and you know, it's gonna be a good show. So that'll be in a few days. But then also we're going to do the ASMR. So I am going to ask/beg you to read what I put in the private chat, because what I want to do with that is I was like, I'm going to record like a real quick, what I want to do on YouTube is like, we have a lot of YouTube videos that are like old shows where we were talking about like, Lindsey Graham like a year ago, right? Nobody's going to watch a fucking hour and a half video on Lindsey Graham a year and a half later. So I'm going to shorten them all to like 4 minutes and just make them like ways that people can listen. And then at the end, put a little thing that says, just going to record it myself and say, hey, this is Jason with Dig on America. Join the show. If you want to watch thanks for watching this clip. If you want to watch the whole show, subscribe on Twitch. Here's how you do that. But then I'm like, no, it would be cool if it was your ASMR at the end of that.
Wait, so do you want me to say it in an ASMR voice?
So look in the private chat. You see what I wrote there in the private chat?
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
Okay. If you can say that as you do your ASMR, thank you for watching our show, like the stuff that you do.
Oh, okay.
45 seconds. Then I'll put that as the clip after all of our videos on YouTube that I cut down. And that way we can have, thank you, Trusty Ape, for clarifying. You monster, telling me mansplaining things to me. But yeah, so.
Okay, so you want me to
Trusty
whisper
Ape.
it, not say it, but whisper it.
Yeah, do it however you want to do it in your ASMR. You're in control. But Lindsay's ASMR moment is here.
I know.
And I will.
Somebody did a great suggestion of doing my little Idaho. I won this. Anyway, I won the picture too. I win stuff. I won on the Price is Right.
I am going backstage.
That's a fun fact about me. I win stuff. But somebody said I should do this. Oh, and it's so good. Oh, that was such a good trigger. That was a great idea. I can't remember who said that, but that was really good. Let me see. I'm going to have to see. Thanks for watching Dig on America. If you want to see the whole show, you can subscribe on YouTube and hit the notification bell, or follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/digonamerica. But maybe I should also do a speaking one too, because that one might be too whispery. So, okay, so I'll say that. Or do you want me to do it later? You're muted.
Yeah, I've been muting myself today, so my background noise. Yeah, whatever. Yep, you can do one that way if you want. You're here, so.
Okay. You can just choose what you want. Thanks for watching Dig on America. If you want to see the whole show, you can subscribe on YouTube and hit the notification bell, or follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/digonamerica.
And I'll kill you, Idaho politicians. All right, guys. We will. I am live now on Twitch, so we will go right over there. Lindsay, thank you much.
All right, see you guys. Yeah,
Sister,
see you next week.
We will see you later.
Okay, see you later, guys.
All righty, bye-bye. All right, so we will do a raid ski of me ski. Let's put it this way. I will see you guys over there.